if you need anything while you're in graduate school. So we offer a lot of services that students aren't always aware of. So we wanted to make sure that you knew we were there. So whenever you're going through graduate school and you have a concern about your situation, your financial situation, or your family situation, or something potentially interfering with your your original plan for your graduate education, please reach out to us. We have a lot of support through things like special leave of absences, and you know, and so we can hear what your situation is and then advise you on what your options are. Graduate school is exciting, but it's difficult. And so, for example, if you start to get sick and you think, oh, I can power through it like I did in undergrad, maybe rethink that and reach out to us and let us tell you what some options may be, because you don't want to end up getting poor grades because of it and then have to deal with the consequences of that. So, so we wanted to make sure that we could have a chance to answer any questions that you might have about the kinds of services we provide in graduate studies. And of course, Renetta is an expert in all the things that we do in graduate studies as well. So she's another great resource, and she is really, really good about referring students to us when they need some sort of academic service. We'll be monitoring your performance all the way through graduate school. So if you usually won't see us, we're kind of behind the scenes, right, Devin? And but when you run into like a sticking point, that's when you notice us. And so, so we'll be monitoring your academic progress. We're the people who will certify your degrees at the end, issue you your diplomas and all. So you should be really nice to us. I'm kidding. Dr. Jensen, what else?
Yeah, so I think just building upon some of the things that Dr. Fritchie spoke about, one of the challenges that often grad students will face is that they deal with things in a reactionary lens rather than a proactive lens. So it is much easier to, like, halfway through the term to maybe make some decisions about whether to proceed in a course. That's a much easier time to deal with it rather than, like Dr. Fritchie mentioned, powering through. We're not going to talk about this, but we do get students that get Fs or really bad grades in a class because they have life circumstances going on outside of the classroom that's hindering their ability to perform well in that class. And so if you get that bad grade, that may drop your GPA below 3.0. And then there's a lot of consequences associated with that. So it's much easier to deal with it in a proactive stance than waiting to deal with it after things have happened. I think that's a really kind of the message that Dr. Fritchie is bringing out there.
And we're not trying to scare you. The vast majority of students at UCF are super successful and never have to deal with any of these issues. But we just wanted to make sure that we could bring it to your attention just in case.
Right. And I think, you know, we're coming into a unique term, especially for new students. And there's a lot of additional stressors that are going on. And so that's why we wanted to make sure that we talk a little bit about this reality, because some of you may feel some extra stresses associated with just the environment we're in, maybe some of the changes to how your learning will occur this semester in your program of studies. So we just want you to be aware of that. Now, building upon that, the University of Central Florida and the College of Graduate Studies, we provide an orientation for all our graduate students that are attending UCF. That is now, we usually do it face-to-face and have a web course available as well. But this year it's just going to be a web course that's going to be available. And that should be coming out shortly here. You'll all be receiving an email about that. And that web course basically describes everything about what resources, what units that are available, what support services are available for graduate students. So we would encourage you to review that web course. There's no test attached to it. It just kind of go through it. It takes about 15 or 20 minutes, but it'll be an invaluable resource for you to be able to know what things are available for you on campus. Anything you want to add to that, Dr. Fritchie?
We also have some other web courses that you'll be invited to. Some of them are mandatory and some of them are optional. So for example, you'll see a web course on plagiarism, and that will be required. You'll see me featured in that web course. Um, and I guess that's it.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
the resources. We have a ton of workshops for graduate students that are really, really well received.
right. Now, tied to that, there are a lot of resources. And as you progress through your degree, it might not be this semester, it might be 3 semesters from now, you may come up with something or an issue may happen and you're not sure where to turn to. Just always remember, you can always turn to the College of Graduate Studies. Give us a call, send us an email, and we'll provide you with the necessary support or help that you need. Maybe it's something that we can directly answer or help you with, or we would know the correct unit or support entity on campus that you can turn to for help and for the right assistance that you need. So you might not remember about UCF Cares, you might not remember about Campus Police, but you can easily remember College of Graduate Studies. They're my kind of one-stop shop to find out where I need to go to get relevant help that is necessary for you. So just remember that. Now, another thing that we wanted to just briefly mention to you is remember that we do have a Graduate Student Association here at the University of Central Florida. They are a body of elected officials who represent the graduate student population and whose responsibility is to take up the issues and the concerns of graduate students and work towards helping them and to building change in the graduate student environment. Sometimes it's fun things that they do. Other things, it's taking up different issues or policy issues that may be impacting graduate students. Now, just to note, for this particular group, we were holding the elections for our new GSA presidency for this year in March, right when COVID-19 was breaking out, things were shutting down on campus. As a result of that, we had to cancel the elections from last year to get our new board for this year. It just wasn't working. There was too much chaos and confusion with everything happening. We couldn't hold a fair election. So shortly after the fall terms starts, we're going to be having an election for our Graduate Student Association. So if any of you are interested in running for any of the positions for president, vice president, treasurer, and communications director, certainly do that. Or if you know people who might be interested in it, we'll be making all that information available through emails to the graduate community. But if you are interested in being involved in the Graduate Student Association, you can either reach out to me. I personally oversee the Graduate Student Association, and the president reports directly to me in his or her capacity. So that's something to be aware of. And then just the last thing that we wanted to kind of talk to you a little bit about is the climate at UCF. So there are a variety of things that we've done. The College of Graduate Studies does an annual climate survey. But the university this year did do an institution-wide climate survey headed up by Dr. Kent Butler. We've concluded the results of that particular climate survey, and we're holding 3 town halls associated with the results of the climate. There will be one for students, and that information is coming out here shortly. I actually sit on the Leadership Council for Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion here at the University of Central Florida, and I'll be a panelist member on those town hall meetings that will be coming up. But we just want our new graduate community to know that we are aware of the different challenges that we're facing as an institution and as a community, a larger community, regarding issues of diversity and equity and inclusion here at the University of Central Florida. The climate survey has revealed many good things that the University of Central Florida is doing. It's also revealed some of the areas that we have challenges and room to grow and progress. I know that President Cartwright is very concerned about it and has put a lot of time and thought into taking action about the things that we need to do here at UCF. I would encourage you to attend those town halls where you can have an opportunity to hear some of the things that we're doing as an institution to help it move forward, to grow and progress. I just wanted to let you know that in terms of numbers and the graduate population, and then we'll wrap up here just real quickly, David, so you guys folks can move forward, is that we are moving to become a more underrepresented institution. When I look at the numbers coming in for fall 2020, it's looking at this point in time that about 39% of our overall graduate student population are going to be represented by underrepresented minorities. And then about 12% of our overall population will be represented by international students. That makes us 51%. Underrepresented minorities and international to 49% for our white or Caucasian students. So it's something that we are continuing to grow and progress. And just for your sake of interest, the largest underrepresented minority population that we have at the University of Central Florida is our Latinx population. They make up about 18.5% of our overall graduate student population. So, you know, we're making progress, but we need you to be part of that community and helping us to continue to grow and progress in those particular matters. And then just so you know, our overall graduate student population is 10,000 students. So you're part of a big group of people here. There's a lot of students here who are all studying lots of different interesting things, like you folks studying kinesiology, how fun. And so helping you to continue to meet your professional goals. So we'd encourage you to go beyond your programs, get to meet and know other people. There's lots of different graduate student associations that exist on campus that you can be involved in the larger community experience that's happening here at UCF. That's all I have. Barbara, is there anything you wanted to kind of wrap up with?
Charge on, go Knights.
There you go. So again, welcome to the University of Central Florida. Go Knights.
Thank you. Do you have any questions for us before we go?
Yeah, if you guys have questions, if you wouldn't mind using the raise your hand icon and we can.
All right, well, that's good then. Thanks so much for having us here tonight.
Looks like we might actually have one here.
Oh,
Okay.
No, Lana, can you?
Hi, so I just have a quick question. So if you're sitting as a graduate studies senator on student government, are you allowed to participate in that graduate studies association that you were talking about as one of the leaders?
Yes, we have people that serve multiple roles who both serve on the, as a senator and also serve on the GSA executive board as well.
Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah, just to reiterate what Dr. Jensen and Dr. Frischi were saying, there's a lot of great resources on campus. I didn't realize it till after that. I'm kind of an introvert and just sort of show up and do my stuff. And I didn't realize till after grad school, there were so many things that are available and that you should take advantage of while they're there. You know, it's part of your tuition and those things going to help support those resources. So take full advantage. And when we don't know the answers to things, these are the people we go to. So they're very helpful.
thank you.
All right. Good night, all.
Bye, thank you.
All right, so now looks like Dr. Linda Rosa Lugo has joined us. She's the Associate Dean. She has a long title. She's the Associate Dean of Faculty Excellence in Graduate and Global Affairs for the College of Health Professions and Sciences. And she wanted to, I think, speak to you guys briefly. But welcome, Dr. Rosa Lugo.
Okay, just to say hello. Actually, you did really nice. Most people have to read the title to be able to say it all. So yes, I'm the Associate Dean. I work extensively with faculty, and specifically, I love working with students. I work closely, and you'll hear from Renetta Gwynn, who's in our college also, who supports the college and graduate education and making sure that we provide support to you in any way that we can. I think that you have a wonderful person in Dr. Fukuda. He may be an introvert, but I can tell you, this is my opinion, Dr. Fukuda, but he's awesome. He really cares about the students, make sure that if anything is going wrong, he is the first one to, in his quiet way, speak up and make sure that he advocates for students. And I'm really pleased that you're all here with us. Yes, it is a challenging time for all of us, but we're going to get through it. We're going to support each other. And I'm hoping that you have an excellent fall semester. So nice to meet all of you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's why I brought her on, because I thought she was going to say nice stuff about me. So
It's true. It's true.
So now we're going to hear from Renetta Ewan and Claire Middlecoff, and they're from the Graduate Affairs Office within the College of Health Professions and Sciences. It's kind of nice it's working out this way because we're working our way up from the top of the university down to the kinesiology level. So they're going to spend some time giving you an overview of some of the support services that they offer. And then myself and Lana Gadusco will go into more detail specifically about kinesiology. Thanks a lot, Dr. Rosa Lugo.
Hello, everyone. I'm Renetta Gwynn, and I want to recognize Claire Middlecoff, who is also on the Zoom call with us. Claire, you want to wave, say hello?
Hello, everyone.
Okay.
Welcome.
We're going to jump into right into the middle of the boring stuff right here at the beginning of the orientation. So I'm going to ask all of you to kind of bear with me while we plow through some information. I have a PowerPoint presentation. Let me see. I need Lana, can you give me access to share my screen so that I can open my PowerPoint presentation?
Yes, if you tell me how to do that.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess we should have rehearsed that.
We should have. Sorry. Hold on.
You can make a co-host if you want to.
Yes, you could make, if you want to just
okay.
make me a co-host. That.
Do that right now.
So Renetta says it's the boring stuff, but this is really the important stuff.
This is important.
A large number of you will have to deal with, well, all of you will have to deal with all of these things, but some of you may have to go even more in depth with it at some point. So.
Oh, the thing has moved over my slideshow. How do I make it do? It's, oh, hang on. I gotta get so I can see my. I can't get it to move down so I can tell it to, I can't get to the slideshow. I can't get it to move down. Let me see if I can move this. It won't move. And I can't click on the icon because you see my problem. Does everybody see my problem here?
Is there one at the top and one at the bottom? I think there's two options.
Next to the slide.
Let's see if I can. I'm trying to move it down and it won't. And let me see, I can't tell this to there. I got it, finally got it to click on it. Sorry about that. I couldn't, it wouldn't, my mouse wasn't clicking on that. So here we go. So, as was mentioned, I am with the College of Health Professions, scoot that on down out of my way, graduate office. I work with Dr. Rosa Lugo and Claire Middlecoff in the office and provide student services and support for all of the programs in the college. If you ever have a problem, feel free to contact me. I'll be happy to help you. Claire is also available to help with any problems that you have with registration or if you have permissions or overrides, issues with graduation, academic progress. We work with the College of Graduate Studies and with the academic programs. So I'm kind of between those two offices and available anytime that you need our services. There we go. I'm going to talk, first of all, a little bit about student responsibilities. It is your responsibility to have and maintain your Knight's Mail account. I can promise you, if you are not checking your Knight's Mail, you are missing important information from a lot of departments on campus. We all use Knight's Mail to communicate with you. The second thing, why can't I move this on down? Get this out of the way. Let me see if I can scoot it up to the top now. Now that. It is your responsibility to be aware of all of the rules and regulations related to academic progress and your degree program. Being unaware or not knowing about an issue or a policy doesn't mean that it isn't, that you're still not required to meet those requirements. The next thing is to know your PID, your UCF ID. That's the one that starts with the first letter of your first name. and is 7 digits. Anytime you contact us, I ask, or any department on campus, please include your PID. It's the way we can find you in the system, and it makes it a lot easier on us to help you. And the last thing I want to talk about is FERPA, the Family Education Right to Privacy Act. You are entitled to privacy in everything related to your academic career here at UCF. We will not discuss your academic progress with anyone else, not your family, not other students. And we take that very seriously. It is a federal law, and so we take it very seriously. If you contact us by phone, we may not be able to answer some questions if we can't confirm your identity. So just be respectful of that and be sure, understand that we are protecting your privacy. Who should you contact if you have a question or a hold? I don't know, I can't really see hands to say how many of you are UCF undergrads, but for those of you that attended UCF, you know that the My UCF system is a great system and allows you to access a lot of information and handle a lot of your affairs right there online. And I'm going to talk about the My UCF system a little bit later, but you should always check there first. You also have a graduate catalog and your program handbook that are available to you. Those are available to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You have a department advisor and your graduate program director, Dr. Fukuda and Lana, that you met earlier. They are also here to help you. And my office is here to help you. Although we are not available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We are working online these days, but we're not 24 hours, 7 days a week. If you have a hold, you will need to click on the hold and it will tell you who to contact. I cannot remove a hold that I didn't place. So, and I'll go over the holds in a little bit more detail in a minute. This is the really boring but extremely important part. This is some very important policies that tend to cause the most problems with students. The first one is GPA. You must maintain a GPA of 3.0. If you drop below a 3.0 GPA, you will be placed on academic probation by the College of Graduate Studies. If you drop below a 2.0, you will be automatically dismissed by the College of Graduate Studies, and your program doesn't really have any say in that, and they can't really do anything to protect you from those policies. Those are called university policies. The next one is about low grades. You cannot receive more than 2 C grades or 6 credit hours. If you make a 3rd C, you will most likely be dismissed from the program. A C plus is still a C. Anything with the name C is a C grade. C plus, C minus, they all count. If you make below a C minus, a D or an F, you will be dismissed from the program. Keep in mind that a B minus is below a 3.0. And I know that's really hard to wrap your head around in your first semester of graduate school, because most likely as an undergraduate, you know, B minus wasn't a bad grade. It was still in the B range. But at the graduate level, it hurts your GPA. So remember that the B minus is a bad grade now. There is no grade forgiveness for those of you that attended universities where they offered grade forgiveness at the university, at the undergraduate level. There is no grade forgiveness at the graduate level. If for some reason you have a 3rd C and you're allowed to remain in the program, or if you get a D or an F, and maybe there was extenuating circumstances and they make an exception and allow you to continue in the program, you would have to repeat the course, but both grades would count in your GPA. The next thing I want to talk about is continuous attendance and cohort programs. This program is not necessarily a cohort program. You do have some flexibility in enrolling in your courses, but you have to attend at least 1 semester out of every 3 semesters. So if you are enrolled this fall, we're going into fall, right? Yes, we're going into fall. I have to stop and think where I am in the academic year. So if you enroll this fall and for some reason you would need to sit out for spring and summer, the university allows you to do that. You could sit out for 2 semesters and still be considered an active student. You would have to then enroll next fall in order to continue. If you sit out next fall, you would be out 3 semesters and you would be discontinued for non-enrollment. You would have to reapply for admission. If something happens and you see that you need to be out for several semesters, maybe a year or longer, maybe you have a severe illness or something in your family or your job, military duty, that type of thing, you can let us know. We do have a leave of absence option that allows you to remain active in the program and you're not discontinued. There's also an option for incomplete grades. If something happens during the semester and you need to do an incomplete grade, I'm going to talk about incomplete grades a little bit more later. But as a general rule, if something happens before the withdrawal deadline and you need to withdraw from a class, or you're not going to be able to complete the class, if it's before the withdrawal deadline, the best thing to do is to probably go ahead and withdraw from the class. However, if it is after the withdrawal deadline, you may have the option for an incomplete grade. If any of you have completed any graduate coursework at another university, you need to talk with Lana or Dr. Fukuda this semester, because if you want to transfer it in onto your plan of study and count it toward this degree, it must be approved by the program during your first semester. And finally, full-time enrollment is 9 credit hours in fall and spring and 6 credit hours in summer. You do have the option to enroll in less than full-time with this particular program. So you could enroll half-time, and half-time does qualify for financial aid. Are there any questions about what I've gone over here so far? I don't see any questions. Well, there will be plenty of time for questions later. I'll pause again a little bit later. And here we have, ta-da, your student center. This is where so much information is available to you. And I'm going to go over a little bit of it, and I have my handy pointer here. The first thing is holds. A hold will prevent you from registering for classes. If you have a hold, you need to click on the hold and it will tell you who to contact in order to have it removed, or what your obligations are in order to get it resolved. The next thing is to-do items. To-do items do not necessarily impact your ability to register, but sometimes a to-do item will turn into a hold. Right now, you are all going to have to-do items for the plan of study, which you're going to be completing and submitting. Though that to-do item will be removed in about a month or so. We'll get those plans of study forms processed, and that to-do item will disappear. You also have a to-do item for the plagiarism web course that Dr. Fritchie mentioned, and also a couple of university to-do items that are web courses you'll want to complete. All of those will need to be completed in your first semester. Financial aid also puts to-do items on there. So if you're planning to receive financial aid or expecting to receive financial aid, you'll need to monitor that to-do list to ensure that you get items completed for financial aid in a timely manner. The next thing I want to talk about is this little drop-down box right here. This is just a little treasure trove of goodies, and I don't know why they hide them here in this drop-down box. Because they're pretty important things. Most importantly, this is where you can see your degree audit. We call it the GPS, the Graduate Plan of Study Audit. It's where you can file your intent to graduate and where you'll request official transcripts. You also handle all of your finances online. This is where you'll pay your student account and handle your financial aid. And down at the bottom, if you can update your personal information here in your student center. We use 3-term registration here at UCF. So right now, all of you can probably register for fall and spring classes. If you just graduated in summer, we may not have your final transcripts, so you would only be allowed to register for fall, but everyone else should be able to register for fall and spring. So you can go ahead and register for your classes now if you want to do that. Fees are always due, and this is important, regardless of when you register. Fees are always due the second Friday of the semester. So if you register for spring classes now, your fees still would not be due until mid-January. Registration opens every year in mid-March. So you'll register for fall and spring classes, and then registration closes, and you'll get appointment times for next year in February, and registration will open in March for next summer, fall, and spring. This is your degree audit, your graduate plan of study, and I want to point out just a few things about it. At the top of it, you'll see your degree program and your personal information. And then you'll have, this student at the time was getting ready to graduate, so they had met all the requirements, and it shows in green that the requirements have been satisfied. Yours are all going to show red because you're just starting the program. It's going to show not satisfied, and that's what it should show right now. And it shows your graduate status GPA. Your graduate status GPA is all of the graduate courses that you've taken since you've been admitted to the degree program. The next section are some policy requirements. They should all be green. If for any time you look at your degree audit and your graduate plan of study and any of these are red, you need to contact your advisor or my office so we can see what's going on and what is violating that policy. And this is the second section of your graduate plan of study audit. Yours is built, this one is built by term, but yours is just built by courses. You'll see the courses that you need to take with your required courses and then your electives. You can actually click on these hyperlinks and it will take you to the registration system in order to register for the classes. So you see the class listed, you click on it, and it links you to it. You'll see your grades and what's been completed. Right, the little diamond courses are the courses that are in progress that semester. And then you also will have some checklist items at the bottom. Those will be completed as you progress through the program, and we update those checklist items. And then at the very bottom, there's course history and comments. I don't show that, but that's the next section. Now to the more interesting part. That's the worst of the boring stuff. This is the more interesting part. Now that you've been admitted to classes, how do you pay for your classes? The only federally funded type of financial aid that is available to graduate students is the Stafford unsubsidized loan. There is also a Grad Plus loan. And for those of you that may have additional semesters of Bright Futures, if you completed your undergraduate degree with and didn't use all of your Bright Future semesters, you could potentially use one semester of Bright Futures toward your graduate degree program. So you can follow up with financial aid in Bright Futures if that applies to you. The Stafford unsubsidized loan is the loan that earns interest from the time you receive the money. In other words, the federal government is not subsidizing the interest for you. So you're going to accrue interest from the time you receive your money. You can, if you completed a FAFSA, you should automatically be packaged with a Stafford loan, unsubsidized loan for the maximum amount for $10,250 for fall and spring semester. If your budget allowed for that, if your cost of attendance budget allowed for that. If you do not have a Stafford loan and you completed a FAFSA, you can let me know and I can try to investigate it for you. I don't normally work with financial aid, but I used to work in financial aid and I still have financial aid access. So I don't normally advertise this, but under the circumstances with us all working and learning remotely, I have been offering to help students do some basic troubleshooting. I can answer some basic questions and determine what might be going on to help out a little bit with financial aid. If you have questions, feel free to contact me. The financial aid website is one of the best websites, I think, at UCF. If you go to just finaid.ucf.edu, FINAID, you can find just about everything you need to know, including forms and the types of aid that are available. It really is a very valuable resource. The two things that you can do in order to expedite your financial aid is, one, complete your FAFSA early. If you have not completed a FAFSA and you want to receive financial aid for this fall, you need to do so immediately. It will take us probably about 3 to 4 weeks to receive the FAFSA results. So you'll need to get that done just immediately. The second thing you can do is complete your to-do items in a timely manner. Monitor your student center and your to-do items at least once or twice a week to see what's been added. Also check your night's mail, because that's how we communicate with you. You can accept and decline your loans online. You should not have to contact financial aid to accept or decline your loan. And you do have the option, when you click on the accept, it will ask you if you want to, what amount you want to accept, if you want to accept all of it or less of it. If you do not have a Stafford loan for the total amount of $10,250, you can let me know, because that's the standard amount, and most graduate students are eligible for that. Occasionally, if a student has a large estimated family contribution, then maybe your budget wouldn't allow for that, but the vast majority of master's students will be eligible for that. But you can reach out to me if you don't see that amount offered to you. Next, how to read your fee invoice. Just a couple of things I want to talk about here. I'm not going to go into a lot of details about it, but I want to point out this section right here with your estimated aid that's available to you. If your estimated financial aid exceeds the amount of the tuition and fees that you owe, then you do not have to make a payment on the fee payment deadline, because you're going to receive a refund of your financial aid. If your financial aid is less than the tuition and fees that you owe, in other words, you owe more money, then you need to make a payment by the fee payment deadline. Again, the fee payment deadline is always the second Friday of the semester. And you make your payments through the Office of Student Accounts. Are there any questions about what I've talked about with financial aid? I want to pause here for just a moment and see if there are any questions. Everybody's shy on Zoom. Nobody wants to answer questions, because this is always the part that gets questions. Really? Nobody has a question about their financial aid?
Actually, I have a question.
Sure.
So will this PowerPoint possibly be made available to us just so we can run through it ourselves?
Actually, I have a handout. I think we could probably make it available to you, but I have a handout that I think Lana may have sent to you. If not, we'll send it to you immediately following this. It's 4 pages that includes information about the policies and some of the financial aid information. Yeah, we can send the PowerPoint to everyone. I'll ask Lana to do that, so she has the list of people who've attended. No problem. Any other questions? Okay. Oh, rolling right along. Okay, it's not always fun. I love this. Sometimes it is not fun. Few things that you've already heard Dr. Fritchie and Dr. Jensen talk about the resources available to you. In the 4-page handout that you're going to receive, we also have some resources listed that are available, some university resources and some community resources. A couple of things that are really important are the resources UCF Cares and CAPS, Counseling and Psychological Services. Graduate school is not easy. And I know this because I went to graduate school. And all of your faculty attended graduate school. And we can all tell you that you will never be poorer in your life than you are in graduate school. That's just the way graduate school is. You will probably never be more stressed than you are in graduate school because you're balancing a lot of different things going on in your life, and especially if you're trying to work or you have a family. Graduate school is not easy. If it was, everybody would have a graduate degree. And it's okay to reach out for help. The sooner you let us know you have a problem, the more options we have to help you. And as Dr. Fritchie and Dr. Jensen said, we are all here to support you. But we can't support you if we don't know there's a problem. So if you don't want to go to graduate studies, or if you don't feel comfortable talking to someone in your department, feel free to reach out to me or to Claire. That's why we are here. It is my job to help you, and that's what I want to do. So anytime you have a problem, you can let us know. Some things to keep in mind. If you need to withdraw from a class, you need to do it by the withdrawal deadline. The drop function only works during add drop. It will not work after add drop. There is no refund if you withdraw from classes, but sometimes it's better to withdraw from a class than to jeopardize getting a D or an F in a class. There can be financial aid and academic consequences to withdrawing, so it's important that you check with your advisor and financial aid before you withdraw. But having said that, and regardless of what the consequences might be for withdrawing, it is better to withdraw from a class than to make a D or an F in a class. Because if you make a D or an F, you're going to be dismissed from the program, and then you never have the option to get this degree at this university again. So while withdrawing is not something you should do lightheartedly, it is something that you should consider if you have a serious situation. Seek academic help early. If you're struggling in a class, the best thing you can do is to let that faculty member know. Talk with them about what options are available, if there are resources, remedial resources, or anything that can help you get a handle on the class. Talk with your faculty. If you're still struggling, talk with Dr. Fukuda. Let him know what's going on in the class. That's why he's here to help you and to advise you. Again, I've mentioned CARES and CAPS. Most importantly, don't just stop going to class. We've had this happen a number of times, and we will send the police or somebody looking for you. We've had to do well checks on students before, and we notice when you're not here if you just disappear. We've had students that, we found out they were in the hospital or in car accidents and things. So we will miss you, believe it or not, if you stop going to class. But if you do stop going to class and you don't withdraw, you're going to receive an F grade in the class. And sometime 3 or 4 years from now, when your life is in a different place and you're feeling better, you will want to come back and finish that master's degree. And you won't be readmitted if you have an F grade on your transcripts, not to this one and not to any other degree program. So it's important, if you have a problem, that you go through the process of withdrawing. If you become ill, you can always request a medical withdrawal. That is an option as well. Reach out to any of us and we can advise you about a medical withdrawal. Finally are the important dates. We have regular registration always ends on the Sunday night at 11:59 p.m. before classes begin on Monday, always. Add drop is always the first week of class. For those of you that are UCF undergrads, they've changed the add drop week this semester, starting this semester. Add, drop are the whole week. Add and drop end at 11:59 p.m. on Friday of the first week of class. Fee payment deadline is always the following Friday, the second week. And the withdrawal deadline is usually about 8 weeks into the semester. This semester it's October 30th. And I don't know if we have any UCF employees or state employees, but they register on Friday afternoon, always the Friday afternoon before classes begin. Are there any other questions that I can answer? I'll make sure that you get the PowerPoint and the handout that we have. The handout has both mine and Claire's email addresses. You can email us and our phone numbers. We are working virtually for now, but are still available to you anytime, almost as if we were in our office, really, because we're right here on our computers anytime you need us. And our phones ring directly to our computers as if we were sitting right in our office. You would never know the difference. So if there aren't any other questions, no? Okay. Well, good luck to all of you. I wish you well. Have a great semester.
Thank you.
Thanks, Renetta.
I guess I need to stop sharing. There we go.
Juana, could you, I guess, make me a co-host as well so I can, oh, you already did.
I made you a co-host.
I need to wake up. All right, well, before I get into this org chart here, I just figured I'd say a few things regarding graduate school. I think it's already been stressed, sort of how there's a different set of expectations for graduate school than maybe there was for your undergraduate programs. I mean, luckily you're in a, hopefully, usually we get people who are in kinesiology because they're very interested in what they do. My wife works in chemistry. Sometimes people are just in chemistry because they think they need to get a degree in science or something like that, right? But usually people that are in our degree programs are there because they have a strong interest. So it's a lot easier from a faculty perspective to teach that way because people want to know more. It's good and bad because you get lots of questions, and I wish I had the answers for all those questions, but I don't. That being said, once you get into grad school, I guess a big point that I wanted to sort of emphasize is that a big part of it is getting to know the other students in your classes, getting to know them. I mentioned before that I'm kind of an introvert, but I think that networking process and getting to know people maybe who are at a different level than maybe who you met in undergrad, who have common interests, and you don't know where they're going to be when they finish. So I think getting to know other people in those classes is really important. Obviously, all the content and all the great things you're going to learn are important as well. But I think getting to know other people, seeing what their interests are, maybe expanding what some of the things that you have in mind for your careers or the things you're going to pursue in the future is pretty important. The other thing that I'd like to sort of point out, and I'm going to probably emphasize this as we go through and talk about, is a lot of our program, the faculty that you'll have in classes, some of the other students that you'll be in class with are interested in a lot of different research topics. And I think that's one of the benefits of our program over a lot of others is that that's what we're doing most of the time. When we're not teaching, we're doing research. We're writing papers, we're exploring things, and hopefully that comes through in class, that's what people are interested in. Those are the kinds of things that they do. Could be good and bad, because if you're here just for a straight memorize these things sort of approach, you may get it sometimes, but there's always going to be sort of this other level of conversation and things that are in the classes. So I don't know if I ever actually shared the screen. Maybe now we're sharing. Can you guys see my org chart here?
Yes.
Yeah. Thanks. it's been a few years now, but I guess just to talk about where we fall in the overall UCF landscape, we're actually part of the Academic Health Sciences Center. So the College of Health Professions is in the Academic Health Sciences Center, which is also includes the College of Medicine and the College of Nursing. So our academic home is in that college, and kinesiology actually is within the School of Kinesiology and Physical Therapy. So our other units that are in our school are athletic training and physical therapy. So the reason why I say all that is because some of the influences that we have related to research and different opportunities, there's benefits to being in this school structure. Potential opportunities to work with people in physical therapy and athletic training are a big part of that. So sure you guys, not all the faculty listed here are going to be teaching graduate classes, and I'll just sort of hit on people that you may interact with. So Dr. Stout here is the director of the School of Kinesiology and Physical Therapy, and he's teaching sport nutrition here in the fall. I'm probably going to mess up these classes, so if I do, Lana can straighten me out. I'm going to be teaching research methods in the fall. Dr. Hill here will be teaching environmental perturbations, and Dr. Wells is going to be teaching exercise physiology 1. So I guess one thing before, we're going to talk about a plan of study and those kinds of things, but I'm sure there probably will be questions about how classes are going to be run and that sort of thing. This is sort of a unique semester because in the past, almost all of our classes were just face-to-face. So basically there was a class that was offered, all of our grad classes right now are offered during the evening so that people can work during the day and that sort of thing. But you can imagine if you have face-to-face classes, only face-to-face classes that are offered during the evenings, you only have pretty much 4 nights out of the week to be able to offer those classes because no one will come to class on Friday, and most faculty probably don't want to teach on Friday night either. But this semester is going to be interesting because we have at least 1 fully online class, 2 video-based courses, and then 2 mixed mode courses. So there'll be less of a face-to-face sort of element to the course, but hopefully we can get around that with using Zoom and those kinds of things. And if people are concerned about the face-to-face classes, I can speak for mine. You can ask Dr. Hill directly about the structure for his, but like with my class, I think we have a cap of 45 for the course, and it's in a lecture hall that holds 300 plus people, something like that. So it's going to be a different experience that we've had in the past. Obviously, if we're coming to campus right now, the requirement is that we have to wear masks, and that means I have to wear a mask while I'm lecturing, so I'm still not quite sure how that's going to go. But people will be spread out. The other thing with my class, what I'm planning on doing is trying to set it up so that there's a live stream via Zoom for every one of those classes, so people can have an option if they want to come to campus or not. Figured it was just nice to have that flexibility for people. So that's kind of how things may run here moving forward. We'll also sort of point out, because a lot of times it comes up about research that's going on. Other people that are conducting research in our school, Dr. Mangum is actually working with the PhD student this year, and she conducts research and runs all the research programs through athletic training. And then through physical therapy, a number of people conduct research. Dr. Haney, Dr. Stock, and Dr. Dawson. And Dr. Stock is actually has a couple of PhD students in our programs, and he also manages most of the research within physical therapy. So, if you're interested in those kinds of things and pursuing, remember those names. Just to get a little bit of overview of some of the things, specific expertise of faculty and actually grad students who do research within our program, because I think it'll help sort of explain why some of the classes are set they were and some of the content that you cover. So we have sort of broad interests that sort of cross over to a number of different areas. So a big part of what we do is strength and conditioning and human performance on a variety of different levels. And we are affiliated with the National Strength and Conditioning Association through their education recognition program. So if you're wanting to take your CSCS and do some different things, there are some benefits. The big one for taking your CSCS exam is that there's a pretty good discount. So if you're interested in pursuing that and getting the discount, you can reach out to Lana or myself and get you the codes to get the discount for that. Typically on these nights that we do orientation, we go through and we talk about all the different research labs. Well, hopefully we can do that in the future and you kind of see where different things span. We also have pretty good exercise biochemistry facilities with a lab, with a benchtop sort of facility over in biology and a biochem lab in our research labs as well. This is just the other information on this slide is regarding the DOT program, which we have about 11 or 12 PhD students who some of them will be in your classes. And if you're interested in pursuing research, you'll probably end up being paired up with some of them, depending on sort of what your interests are. Well, I'm going to do one other thing very quickly because I know we're sort of short on time. Find it here. Regarding research, if you're interested in just knowing the different interests of people at the College of Health Professions website, if you click on research and faculty research here, you'll get a drop down of all the faculty in our college, and you can go through and click on kinesiology, physical therapy, athletic training, actually even some people in health sciences that are doing research with some of our grad students. And if you do that and you click on one of these specific filters, maybe, you can see sort of different things listed here for people's specific research interests. And if you click down a little bit further, so this is Dr. Hill. He has interests in blood flow restriction, aerospace physiology, and some of those kinds of things. There's a little bit more details, and you can click on a publication, a link that'll link out to ResearchGate or Google Scholar or something like that. The other thing, is this going over from the different tabs here? You can also, sorry.
We can
yeah, I did switch to a different.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Under research, you can also go to research study participation, and we're working on trying to populate as many of our studies as possible into this research study participation link. And you can see most of these are related to kinesiology and physical therapy in the college. So actually we have this one going on right now where we're, because we haven't had access to our lab since March, we decided to take what doc students' interests in chronotypes. So like if you're a morning person or an evening person, something along those lines. And we did a survey study to try to see relationships between the types of activities that people do and the type of chronotype that they are. So a lot of people who do endurance training typically are morning people, or morning type or something like that. And then we threw on another one to see if there was changes in chronotypes related to schedule changes related to COVID. So it's sort of a cool, different project than what we normally do. And you can see some different things here. I realize that I pushed us past our time here.
That's okay. Mine will be really quick.
So yeah, hopefully that gives you a little bit of background, a feel for the program, and obviously you'll get to know more and more about that as you begin classes. And I didn't mean to push Lana till last because a lot of you probably work with her as you were going through the admissions process. She's our graduate academic advisor. She knows everything about what's going on at UCF. And she's usually who I go and ask for all the things that I need in addition to Claire and Renetta. So she has some things to say. She'll be working with you all on plans of study. And I think she can talk about that now.
Thank you, Dr. Fukuda. Welcome everybody. We are so happy to have you all with us. Welcome to the kinesiology program. Like Dr. Fukuda said, I am the academic coordinator / advisor for the program. I will be working with each individual on their plans of study. Let me share my screen really quickly. I promise this will be really quick.
And we're available to stick around if you have questions afterwards, so we'll stick on.
Every single one of you will have an academic program of study, plan of study. I will work with each of you individually to get this set up. Just to briefly go over it, our program is a 36 credit hour program. We have, this is our non-thesis track. If you're interested in a thesis track, you can talk to Dr. Fukuda later on about that. But specifically, the non-thesis track is 15 credit hours in the core. These are the courses in our core program. And then you'll see here that there are electives, and it says 15 to 18 credit hours of electives. And the reason why that is because we have options for your non-thesis has options. You can either do a practicum for 3 credit hours. If you decide to do a practicum for 3 credit hours, you would take 18 credits of coursework here. If you decided that you wanted to do a 6 credit hour practicum, and we can go into the practicums a little bit more in depth later on if you have questions about it. If you decide to do a 6 credit hour practicum, you would take 15 credits of electives. And the final option is the review of literature, which is a 3 credit option. If you choose that option, you would also do 18 credits of electives. So it's 6 classes. Again, every single one of you will get a program of study. I will work with each of you individually to get this set up. What happens is if we don't upload a program of study into the system, graduate affairs will actually, or graduate studies, excuse me, will put a hold on your account, and we don't want that to happen because we want you to be able to register for classes. Almost every single one of you here is registered for classes. If you are not registered for classes for the fall semester, please, please, please contact me and I will assist you with registering for classes. If you are registered for classes and you have questions, please reach out to me. I try to respond in 24 hours and just let me know what your questions are and I'll be happy to get you set up for the fall semester and even the spring semester as well, because our spring classes are also in the system. Just a side note on that, they may change depending on what happens with the pandemic. That's my spiel. Anybody have any questions?
I have one question. Will we be setting up an appointment with you to set up the plan of study, or?
Yes, you can email me for an appointment. Probably not the first 2 weeks of the semester. You can email me and we can set up an appointment for after the probably like the 3rd week of the semester, just because it's kind of crazy the first 2 weeks.
Yeah. Okay.
But yes. Any other questions about the plan of study?
Just a couple of notes about those courses. Certain ones of them will only be offered well, they'll all be offered, maybe all the core courses will be offered once per year, and they tend to be in the same semesters. So like XPhys 1 is offered in the fall, research methods is offered in the fall, probably sport nutrition as well. And then in the spring, assessment and XPhys 2 are offered. So we tend to keep those there, and then they're sort of backfilled with different types of electives. The one note that I will point out, if you are interested in pursuing a thesis, there is maybe limited opportunities depending on the availability of faculty and the research projects that are going on. But that would involve doing a research, getting approval to work with a specific faculty member, forming a thesis committee, proposing a project, conducting that research project, and then writing it up and defending it. In order to do that, there's 6 separate credit hours, and you need to take statistics. That statistics course is only offered during the summer. So just to kind of give you a heads up that if that's something you were even sort of entertaining, then during the summer is when that stats course is offered. No other questions?
There has to be more questions.
We're just
I actually have a question about the courses, which ones will be online, like the online lecture or whatnot. I looked on the website and saw that some of them have already been made, the online lectures, but will the teachers email us or like send out some kind of notification whether or not it'll be the lecture or just officially online everything?
That's a good question, Timothy. If you've registered for a class in your MyUCF Student Center, you'll see the dashboard when you first log in, and you'll see every class that you're registered for. If you click on the hyperlink for the class, it'll show you the mode of instruction. So for instance, if you're registered for Exercise Physiology 1 this fall, PET 5355, that course is fully online this semester. So you'd have to click on each individual one and it'll show you. Dr. Fukuda's research class is mixed mode on Thursday evenings. So that means that some of the instruction is done in class and some is done online. But like he explained, he's hoping to get that on Zoom. So every course is different.
And those dates for my class are specifically listed in my UCF as well. So you'll be able to tell the nights that is a face-to-face or the new term they're using now is synchronous. So the times when you would expect it to sort of be there to interact or something like that, those are all in my UCF as well.
And if you have questions about that and you can't find it or anything, please let me know and I'll be happy to help you. You can send me an email.
I have a question.
Yes.
Do you guys suggest taking 12 credits at once? Is that too large of a load? Is 9 the optimal load if you're working and stuff?
Yeah, well, I mean, that's a decision that you'll have to make, Paul, but normally students take anywhere between 2 to 4 classes, depending on if they have work, family, etc. 9 credits is considered full-time.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So I could take 9 credits this semester and then I'd still be considered full-time?
Correct.
Okay.
Any other questions? I don't see anybody else. Dr. Fukuda, do you have anything else?
I don't think so. I think it's going to be an interesting semester. It's going to be really important to make sure you're checking your night's mail, because for us on the administrative side right now, we'll get a different email every day about something that's changing. So I think it's really important to monitor those things and keep up. Make sure you're in good communication with your with the faculty. If they don't know, they can't help you or adjust or do any of those things. So it's going to be really important to sort of reach out in whatever forms that are available. The other thing is that I've just been for those last 6 months, whatever it is, I've been really impressed with the way that students have adapted and adjusted to things. And I'm confident you guys will do that same thing. But if we don't know, we can't really help with things. So make sure to just stay in touch.
Yeah, and going off what just Dr. Fukuda just said, please check your night's mail at least once a day if you can. We're not going to email you just to say hello, how are you? I mean, ideally we would like to do that for everybody, but we're going to email you with important information. For instance, if for some reason a course modality changes, we're going to email you and let you know that. So at least check it at least once a day if possible. I have it on my phone, so if you can download the app on your phone and just check it that way. Because Graduate Affairs will send you emails. We're going to send you emails anytime anything new. If we have a new course on the schedule, we're going to let you guys know. Any kind of research opportunities, internships, things like that, we're going to let you know only through your night's email. Now that you're official UCF students, I know I've emailed you all on your personal emails, but that stops as of today. You should have a night's email account, and that's where we're going to begin to email you. So from here on out, no more personal email. It's actually a violation. We're not allowed to do it anymore. So any other questions? Please email me if you guys need anything at all.
Follow our social media things.
Oh yeah, social media.
Lana and Jenny have done a really good job. We had the kinesiology social media was about like my own, and there was nothing on there, but now they're doing a great job sort of keeping people notified of things and sort of showing things that are going on. So,
and it's on the original email. It's in my signature. So please follow us on social media for news, events, internship opportunities, student spotlights, faculty spotlights. So please follow us.
Yeah, I guess practicum, maybe we can talk about just real quick that practicum is normally an option, but it's not right now. So like this summer and this fall, the practicum's not being offered. But typically on a typical year, and I keep saying this because some of it may change a little bit as we move forward, but students have been able to identify their own sort of opportunities that are out there, and then we go through our practicum coordinator and sort of set those things up. So keep in mind potential opportunities that may be out there, but we could feed things that come up, that come specifically to our attention. We can send it out, but you can be looking for those on your own as well. And I completely left out opportunities potentially through the UCF Sports Science Initiative, both through UCF Athletics and otherwise. There may be opportunities in the future for not just research, but also internship type opportunities as well.
And thank you to the 3 people that just followed us on Instagram. I won't call you out, but thank you.
No other questions? I forgot, usually it's about practicum stuff anyway, so. All right, well, thanks. Sorry that we went a little overboard, but I'll probably be saying that in class too this fall, so.
And again, if y'all need anything, please reach out to me. I'm here to help. I'm here to answer questions. Call me. My phone number's on my email as well. Y'all have a good night, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.